Yes, hello, welcome back. This is Male Point of View Monday, Week 2, Part 2. No, Coke did not endorse any part of this product, but if they would like to, they know where to reach me. Moving on, we have, as I said before, we have a very long, in-depth, well, not a long question, but it's actually a very short question, but there are a lot of elements to it that need to be discussed. It reads like this. I have a question. How do I get my guy to be more expressive? I notice when I ask him something, he says one thing. It comes up again and completely changes what he had previously said. It definitely makes me wonder if he's lying about something. Do you think he's just scared of telling me how he really feels about something? We're going to go to the panel now because we have Spam once again chiming in. Spam writes, Question 1, how do I get him to be more expressive? Male brains aren't wired the same way as their female counterparts. In general, the female brain has more connections between the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. The left hemisphere, which is where language predominantly resides, and the right, which is your creative and emotional side. Then does the male brain. As broad generalization, these extra connections are what make women more handy with verbalizing their feelings than men. I'm having enough trouble verbalizing right now, it seems. Most guys aren't given the tools by birth or upbringing to differentiate between frustration and anger, boredom and loneliness, or disappointment and sadness. If asked, they'll say they're pissed, really bored, or bummed. Well, the ability to experience an emotion and be able to verbalize it is not an inborn talent. Practice does make it possible. He goes on to give the example of when your husband is upset, ask him why he's upset. He's going to tell you the story, and then during the way he'll probably give you an emotion for it. And then, ask him what made him feel that emotion, and he'll clarify it. So you can basically go with, so when this event, the whole story happened, you felt what he said he felt because of this, right? You give him a bit, and he goes on, I'm just going to say this. It's like the other day for me, I came home, I was so angry because one of the people I work with decided to up and quit on the busiest night of the week. He didn't just up and quit, he simply did not show up. No call, no show, no job. So that left me with two bosses who do not work well together generally. And, I was pretty upset about it. I came home, I was angry because I just had all this falling into my lap. And, my wife's like, well, what are you, what's wrong? And I said, well, so-and-so, no call, no show, no job, so all the other work, it's just frustrating when they do this and all this other stuff falls in on me. She's like, so you're frustrated because he quit and you had to do more work? I'm like, yeah, that's basically it. So, you kind of have to listen really closely to what he's saying and then be able to explain it. Spam continues, give him a bit to think about it because you just made a left brain, right brain connection, and as previously mentioned, that's not something guys are used to doing. If he's anything like me, you'll want to grab him an Advil and a cup of coffee for him because he'll probably end up with a headache and sapped of all energy after making that journey. And for guys, I love the metaphor he used here. It's kind of like going from Florida to Canada by way of California on a unicycle. It's not easy to do. Some of us have had more practice formalizing and vocalizing exactly what we're feeling, using terms such as frustration. And Spam continues here, there are a ton of emotions that any human is capable of experiencing, but men can typically only name or identify the major ones: anger, happiness, boredom. Something that may be of use when he's having difficulty verbalizing is his feeling is this chart. And he goes on to list the chart. I will also post this on Male POV Monday when I post this, so YouTube guys can look through it. I may not be able to remember exactly the link, so I'm also going to add it onto the YouTube site right underneath, so you guys can go check it out there. He continues, this is by no means a comprehensive list, but it's a good start. One very similar to this, which has worked wonders for me, is, and once again, he's got another one here. I will also be posting this with the post in Therapy Thursday and on the YouTube site. So, the information that he went out and collected for us, we now have at our disposal as well. He goes on for the question 2. Is he lying, or is he afraid to tell me how he really feels? Answer, maybe, on both counts. He goes on to say, if he's a liar, then he's probably lying to you. If he's not a liar, you might be getting different answers because of any number of things. His opinion has changed, hindsight has colored his memories, the way you're phrasing the question is tripping him up. He can't describe how he feels about it. See the answer to question number 1, which, or you can just go back. He doesn't feel one way or another about it at all, and he's answering whatever way he thinks will make you happy, or maybe he is afraid to tell you how he feels. This is very important. What he just said here, I want to go over real quick. This is so much important. This has so much in it because, one thing I've noticed in myself is as time goes by, my opinion of things change. Last night we went and saw the Hunger Games movie, my wife and I, and I read all the books. I'm a fan of the books. I will more than likely read them again, and not too far from the future, because they are enjoyable to me. But the one thing I couldn't pull it was a great movie. If you haven't read the books and you want to see a good movie, it is a very good movie. If you read the books, you might find yourself in the same situation I have, where you're drawing parallels. And that night, my wife and I were talking, and I kept on drawing parallels between the books, what was left out of the books and what was in the movies, the differences, things that I thought could have been a little bit better, a little bit cooler, but, that's for me. And I look back at the movie today, and I was like, well, yeah, for a movie, it was a really good movie based off a book. They kept pretty true to the book. It was just some of the changes they made I didn't agree with, but I wasn't the script writer, I wasn't the director, so let's carry on. Spam continues, don't get upset with him or jump to conclusions. An opposite answer isn't necessarily a lie or an attempt to cover a lie, but the result of a different mindset, emotional status, or judgment tempered by time or experience. I'll sometimes give 2 answers to 1 question, and both of them are correct and honest with what seems to me a very clear connection. My wife, however, is not in my head and can't read my thoughts, so all she hears is story A and story B and can only conclude that one of them is a lie until I prove otherwise. We've worked out a system where when this happens, she asks me to explain. She doesn't demand, order, manipulate an explanation. She points out that there's a disconnection and requests clarification. My wife and I also have a way of doing this. She gives me a look that I know very well. Sometimes it's not an easy task to explain the connection, but with some mental effort on my part and a little patience on hers, the 2 opposing views can coexist truthfully. Very, very good thing to put up there. As far as being afraid to tell you how he feels, don't be shocked if he is. We all have a side of our personality that we take hidden in private, and we've all had questions posed to us that we're afraid to answer honestly. Prime example, does this dress make my ass look fat? Ladies, please, under no circumstances do you ever ask your man this question. It is a no-win question. It's like playing Russian roulette with a full magazine. There is no chance we're getting out of this one alive. He might be thinking that it really does, but no sane guy is going to say, yep, it's like potatoes and spandex. This is one of the reasons I'm keeping Spam's identity secret. I don't want any public hangings because of this video. Be sensitive to the questions you're asking by imagining how you'd react if he said the same thing. Once again, this is one of the reasons I asked Spam to join the panel. He's a very smart guy. He knows how to speak. He's taken classes. He is actually going to school to become a teacher. So, as far as being afraid to tell you how he feels, don't be shocked if he is. Men have this mask. We guys have this mask, and we like to use it. It's to protect ourselves, because in the male world, much different from the female world, I've watched you all. God bless you on this site. It's on Therapy Thursday, the page. It's wonderful. You're all so sensitive to each other. You're not afraid to go out there. Well, guys have to be sensitive, because any sign of weakness is a lower in male status, and it's not something we can control. It's just how it is. So that's one of the way us guys defend ourselves, is with this mask. It's not that he doesn't want to feel weak towards you, because I do believe that in a relationship you have to be honest and vulnerable, but it's just a learned condition. So, and I want to go back to something else he said. Do not ever, under any circumstances, keep digging at, what he says if he's working on opening up. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. You push a person too much, they'll start pushing back, and you're not going to get how you want it. So, be patient with him. Please, just be patient if you're actually trying to get the truth out of him. Other questions, questions about the future. Please don't ask your guy what he thinks he'll be about in the future. Yeah, we know what you want to hear. Being honest, I can honestly say I love my wife. I hope to be with us till death do us part. So that is, just one of the things we go through. I hope with Spam and I going back and forth on this that, you were able to get enough information. Like I said, I will post that. So I'm going to move on to my final thoughts here. One of the things I did talk about a lot this week is changing. And I'm going to say it. I have to say it, don't ever change for anybody but yourself. A change for the wrong reasons is never going to last. I want you out there, if you decide that you are going to make a change in your life, I want you to actually look at this change and to say to yourself, will it make me happy? Will it make, my life better? Will it improve me? I'm not saying, that your significant other's opinion is, not supposed to matter. If it's clearly, if they think that it's a bad idea, like I want to gain weight and be at 1,000 pounds, which I saw, on a show. Maybe some of you else also saw this. This woman who wanted to reach 1,000 pounds, and her husband was all for it. That's something I would speak up against, but that's a change that they feel they want to do. That's their choice. But, they were both happy about it. She was not at all upset about her weight. From what I seen, she seemed very happy. She seemed to have great self-esteem. He was happy with her that way. Apparently they had a great sex life, so I don't know. What's good for them is not good for, others, but that's what they want to do. But, I'm going back to my main point. If you're going to change, make sure it's for you and it is going to improve your life. So, until next week, I'm going to wrap it up now. This has been Male Point of View, Daniel Siebert. Once again, I'm always taking your questions throughout the week. You can send them to me at blackazrich@AOL.com. or through Facebook Messenger under my name for, you guys in the group who know me. So until then, I love you all. Best wishes, and I'll see you on the page.